Vixen, one of the most interesting characters in the DC universe. Vixen's origin is rooted in both loss and legacy. Her parents' death, her mother murdered by poachers, and her father murdered by his own half-brother instill a dual wound. This is grief and betrayal. This makes her early psyche to be shaped by abandonment, injustice, and a distrust of authority. But at the same time, she inherits the Tantu Totem, and this is a symbol of ancestral power, responsibility, and continuity. So her life becomes a tug-of-war between trauma and empowerment. Now, Vixen embodies survivor's guilt, but channels it into responsibility. Instead of being consumed by tragedy, she takes up the totem as a mandate to honor her bloodline and to protect others. And the totem itself, it isn't just a gadget, it's a psychological extension of her unconscious mind. Every time Marie channels the abilities of the animals, the strength of a gorilla, the speed of a cheetah, the cunning of a fox, she's blending human rationality with primal instincts, and this gives her a dual psyche. She has the rational self, which is the fashion model, the public figure, the superhero with strategy, and then she has the animalistic side, which is instinctive self, intuitive, and sometimes uncontrollable. Her challenge is always to integrate the two, balancing the civilized self with the raw instinct powers that could overtake her if she leans too far into that. So she is the archetype of Carl Jung's animism, a bridge between humanity and the natural unconscious. She literally wears the psyche of the animal kingdom, which is very powerful. Now, she also has a very rare set of circumstances in the comic book world. A black African woman who is both a global model and a superhero. And that dual life creates pressures. As a model, she's commodified, she's objectified, and she's scrutinized by society's beauty standards. As a hero, she's empowered, she's dangerous, and often misunderstood or even underestimated in the Justice League context, really dominated by these bigger, larger male characters. And this duality first forces her into a constant self-negotiation. Is she just a face or a force? Is she playing into Western expectations of exotic African beauty, or is she redefining it on her own terms? So she struggles with some imposter syndrome, not because she doubts her worth, but because the world projects labels onto her that she has to fight. Her fight is not just with villains, but also against stereotypes. And in terms of relationships and trust, we see some good and some bad. She works well on teams. Justice League, Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, but her history of betrayal, particularly from family, means she maintains a cautious emotional distance. She's a loyal ally, but rarely fully vulnerable. In romantic connections, like with Bronze Tiger, or even her thing with Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, she shows that she's open to intimacy, but she's very wary of being hurt again, so she kind of pulls back. So she thrives in a collective that always reserves a piece of herself. Her independence is armor and isolation. Now, her symbolism really relies on the totem, which is ancestral memory, cultural weight, and spiritual connection. The animals represent instinct, survival, shadow aspects of the self. And her career as a model is her mask, is her projections and identities of performance. But she represents a psychological ecology. She's both individual and collective. She's self and ancestry, human and animal, and she reminds us that identity isn't singular. It's often layered, inherited, and adaptive. So she's the embodiment of post-trauma empowerment. She takes ancestral pain and transforms it into ancestral power. Her psyche is a battlefield between her human mask, her animal instincts, and the cultural weight of representation. The fact that she holds all three together without fracturing is itself a true superpower. But just an intriguing character on a lot of levels. Love talking about Vixen. Let me know what your thoughts on her are in the comment section.